Imagine scrolling through your timeline and you just randomly come across this right here. Biden Harris campaign hires director of black media to better reach black voters. Exclusive: Jasmine Harris will lead the campaign's black media operations after serving in a similar capacity for Senator Chuck Schumer. This is one of those you got to put your head into your hand and just shake your invisible locks, because what is this? When I saw this, the first words that I typed out in response was, the desperation is real. If they think that this is going to be some kind of a ploy to work on people, and let's be real here, they're probably trying to give this to more towards younger black people, maybe not older black people. But then again, they said she did work with Chuck Schumer, so it may be going to an older crowd. But what is this? I'm saying, in black media, what type of black media? Because if it ain't the new black media, is it really black media? Because I don't know what kind of thing or scheme they got cooked up, but I can tell you right now, this ain't gonna work. It really ain't. Now let me go ahead and get into the article itself. The Biden-Harris campaign has hired a director of black media, the Griot exclusively reports, touting the new addition is evidence of the 2024 re-election operation's early commitment and investment to reach black voters. And notice, like I said, they always wait to the last minute or those last couple of seconds in order to try to do outreach to black people whenever they feel they're slipping. Keep in mind of the video that I just recently did about Biden going to the barbershop and quote unquote talking to black people in South Carolina. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, literally how I felt was in the title where I said whoop-de-doo. That's how I feel about this. Whoop-de-fucking-do. What is this supposed to do? What is this? It means absolutely nothing. But then again, they're going to say, I don't have an opinion because I'm an independent. So they say, well, since you're not supportive, then you don't really have a say. Actually, I do have a say. And I say this is dumb. There, I said it. The campaign selected Jasmine Harris, a former staffer for Senator Chuck Schumer out of New York, to lead its black media operations. I can only imagine what they're going to have her doing or what she's chosen to do. The move comes after the re-election campaign of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris invested millions in early ad buys targeting black communities last year, 13 months ahead of Election Day on November 5th. Our campaign is going to win in 2024 by mobilizing the diverse Biden-Harris coalition that sent Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to the White House in 2020. And black voters are a critical part of that winning coalition, Quentin Fawkes, principal deputy campaign manager, said in a statement to the Griot. They always say that black people are a huge part of the campaign or them winning. And it's like once black people get on board, which hopefully they wake up with a good lens, then there's nothing there. They're doing everything for everybody else. It's like, look around. What have they done specifically for black people? And then when people start naming stuff off, it's like, no, that wasn't specific for black people. That was for everybody. But they've done stuff specifically for other groups. Specifically, you want to talk about something that's recent, look at what's going on with that border. They're just allowing them to come right on in. The academy, they get something specifically for them. They do stuff for other groups overseas, but nothing for the people who actually voted for them here. And they said they weren't going to do anything. I remember that clip that Kamala Harris said that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for black people. She said that, but people still went out and supported her. And it's crazy because she was running for president against Joe Biden, to try to run for president, and she polled low as hell. The only reason she's there right now is because a lot of black people, especially a lot of black women, kept saying that Joe Biden needed to have a black running mate, and then he picked her, a woman who has a complete identity crisis. She doesn't know if she's black one day or Indian the next or Jamaican one day or something else the next. She's a chameleon. That's why my nickname for her is Kamala the Chameleon. The article goes on to say, while President Biden and Vice President Harris have been fighting for black Americans every day in office, that's a joke. Our campaign has already made the earliest, largest investment in black media for a re-election campaign starting in August of last year and organizing on the ground in key communities. Folks said of Jasmine Harris, there's no one better equipped to continue to build on that work and communicate the stakes of this election directly to black voters across the country. Now, here's the thing. I can honestly say I've never heard of this woman. Can anybody down in the comments tell me if they've heard of Jasmine Harris? I know a few Jasmines personally, but none of them are her. He continued, Jasmine is an immensely seasoned and talented operative who will hit the ground running, and we are thrilled to have her join our team. Jasmine Harris, who left her role as Director of African American Media for Senate Majority Leader Schumer to take her new position, told the Griot she is extremely grateful to work on the Biden-Harris campaign team, which she described as dedicated to ensuring our country keeps the strong and trustworthy leaders it needs in President Biden and Vice President Harris as we continue the fight for progress. Black reporters and outlets must always have a seat at the table. When they start saying that, then you've already lost me. I mean, I was already lost with the article anyway, but now you've completely tuned me out. When they talk about fight for a seat at the table, that just means you're fighting to get some crumbs, because you're not going to get a whole meal, and you can get the crumbs off the floor, so you don't even have to be at the table. You can be by the table for all that matters. As it relates to our nation's political leadership, Jasmine Harris said, especially when the stakes are as high as they are in this election. She added, I'm thrilled to be joining a campaign that understands that. While working for Schumer's office, she advocated for black reporters and national black media outlets to have access on Capitol Hill. What media? Like your Roland Martins? I'm assuming that's who she's talking about. People in that sector. She often briefed Schumer and members of the Senate Democratic Caucus on her discussions with those reporters. She also served as a liaison between the Majority Leader's office and digital staffers within the caucus. Before working on the Hill, Jasmine Harris was a digital director for the Democratic Caucus of the Michigan House of Representatives, where she spearheaded its digital communications and social media presence. Joel Payne, a Democratic strategist who served as a director of African American paid media for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, said the Biden-Harris campaign's hiring of a director of black media demonstrates the party's commitment to black communities. Does it though? Is it though? Really though? I don't think so. These type of investments in experienced staff that correspond directly to core constituencies show that the president and his team understand what it will take to keep their coalition together for 2024, Payne told the Griot. It is encouraging to see the Biden campaign investing early in organizing and engaging black voters. This type of hire is good news for those in the Democratic Party who have been eager to see the campaign take greater shape and direction. No, that is not what is going on. Y'all are trying to save face. And y'all, this is literally putting a band-aid over a flesh wound. I like to use that analogy a lot. If y'all followed me for quite some time, y'all know I've said that quite often. You cannot put a band-aid on a flesh wound. This is a flesh wound. It needs repairing. If they're not talking about what the three simple things that I mentioned, tangible / reparations, an anti-black hate crime bill specifically for, black Americans, and getting rid of qualified immunity. Those three things right there, they do not talk about. And those are the three crucial things that is needed for us. If you're not talking about that, then we have nothing to talk about. The campaign is not naive to the fact that polling shows black voters are not particularly enthusiastic about supporting a second term of the Biden-Harris administration. And when you talk about, when you say that, they never ask them why that is. Because like I said before, they're scared of the response that they're going to receive. That is why. Because they already know what it is. They've heard the rumblings. They've heard the whispers. They know what black people going to say. And one thing about black people, we do not sugarcoat. A lot of us do not dance around whatever it is that we feel or what the facts are. We're going to be blunt, and a lot of them can't handle it. Campaign officials and Democratic strategists continue to argue that any dismal polling will dissipate as election day draws nearer and Biden and Harris begin hitting the road to remind and inform black voters what they have done to better their communities. I would love to hear the BS in the field that'll come out of their mouths to say exactly what have they done. Jamie Harrison, chairman of the Democratic National Committee, told the Griot that Biden has quote-unquote done so much for black communities, including issue of billions in student debt relief, again not specific for black people, stimulus funding to rejump the black economy during the pandemic, criminal justice reform through executive action, and historic appointments of black judges on the federal bench. What does that do specifically for us? Again, if it's not the three things that I mentioned, which they did not mention, that's not specific. They think we are dumb. These people think we are politically remedial. I was going to say something else, but I had to catch myself. They think we are politically remedial. They think we do not know how to do research. They don't think we read, none of that. And they're banking on it. Well, they better hope that their turnout is turned up in November. But something tells me it's not going to happen. Hypothetically, let's say Biden wins. I don't think it's going to be by the big margin they hope it's going to be, or what it was back in 2020. If he does get reelected, it will not be by a landslide. It's going to be a very close race. And even if he does win, while that's a victory for them, they should be worried, because that means you did all of this for all these years, then you try to come in at the last hour, in the last 30 minutes, and try to switch something around, and it didn't work. That means more and more people have woken up to your crap. It's important for us to make sure that people understand and that he gets credit for the hard work that he's put into really giving us all a seat at the table. Again, what did I tell you? When they start talking about that seat at the table crap, you tuned me out, because you're letting me know right there what's going on. And let's just hypothetically say I was to fall for that seat at the table crap. Where's our seat at? Because to me, it seems like the people that's getting a seat at the table are your Roland Martins and your Jamie Harrisons, this Jasmine Harris chick, and so many more who have a quote unquote title. If there was a table for us to sit at, why aren't we at it? I thought you was doing this for the community. It looks to me like you're doing this to self-serve. And that's the end of the article right there. Thank God. Because I don't think I could have bared to hear seat at the table a third time. This is a bunch of crap. If there's anyone out there with a sound mind who is sane, please do not fall for this. Well, if you're of a sound mind and sane, you won't fall for this, but go and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. This means nothing. This means absolutely nothing to anybody, to any of us. But again, it really don't mean anything to me, because again, I am an independent, as far as leaning. I have no allegiance to either side. And if you've noticed, one thing I'm gonna start doing this year is, like I said, I don't like to do too many political type videos, but thanks to this being an election year and thanks to the influence of Kid Gravity, it's forcing me to have to actually do that, unfortunately. And what you're going to see is a balance of how both sides aren't for us. I'm not going to be one of those people that's just going to say, oh, this side is worse than this side, or this side is just as bad as this side. No, both sides are bad for us in more ways than one. It's just how they frame it. That's it. Again, two wings, same buzzard.